Well, this is number 118 of Live with Spry. I've got Spry here. You can see her fancy place bed. And the reason she's on that is because I have another dog in the shop with us today, and it's Cody. And so I put in there, Justin joined in. Hey, Justin, Dan is in. Good evening, guys. I've added a new pup tonight, and she's going to, in the last few times that we did Live with Spry, I had Ellie with me. And instead of Ellie, I've got Cody. And Cody is brand new, real new to us. I've only had her here about a week. She's a sister to Tito. If you've been watching on some of our Instagram stuff and our Snapchat stuff, Tito's a little yellow lab. It's actually a puppy of Timber, who is a dog that I trained a while back. And so these are pups out of her. Cody Miller, Scott Wolf, Jeff, Sam. Hey, Sam. Brian Frisk is in, Chad is in, Jason's in, Taylor's in, Jeff's in, Wes is in, Wes Hansen's in. Wes Hansen and I just did a podcast. I think it's called the Release Podcast, isn't it, Wes? Maybe put a link to that if you would, if you're still watching. Had a great interview with Wes. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was the day before, maybe. And we talked for about an hour. Wes has a podcast that you guys might be interested in following along. I'll see if Wes can maybe post a link to it. So welcome, Wes. Dan is in. Ed's in. Marty, Hunter, shared, but I'll have to watch it later. Appreciate that, Hunter. Glad you're back with the lives. Appreciate that. We are back with them. We missed a couple days, but it was just because we had a lot of other stuff going on. Cole Brewer joined in. Jason's in. Cam Cutters. Amber, how are you, Amber? Oh, that's not Amber. That's Blahnik. That's Amber's wife, or Amber's husband. Tori's in. How are you doing, Tori? Jeff, the Release Podcast. Love these videos. So the Release Podcast just is the one that we just did. So they just made a comment. Colin, and that was a great podcast. I really enjoyed it. We got into some really good stuff. Wes did his homework. He had some really good questions. Really enjoyed that. So check that out. I'm going to be posting some links to that as well. We talked a little bit about podcasts last time. I have the equipment now. So we are going to, I see he just posted the link to it. We've got the equipment. Now it's just a matter of me sitting down and figuring it out. And that's coming. So Jared Marsh joined in. Coach is in. Look sharp, everybody. So tonight what we're going to do is I've got Spry, and we are going to use her. We also, as I flip this around, are going to use Cody. And so Cody is new. You're going to see some things here. She's not doing it for me right now. I was kind of waiting for her to do that. I wonder if any of you guys have the dogs at home that are kind of, I call them 50% placers, or maybe 70% placers, or they're just not 100%. Sometimes they're creeping off of there. And so Cody has come to us. I want to say she's about a little over 6 months, maybe going on 7 months. She's a real nice dog. Very similar to her brother Tito, who's a friend of ours that we're training for. And they came to me about, well, one of them came right around the first of the year, and then this one just came about a month later. So this one is real interesting, and I brought her on purpose because she's really soft, which I like. I'm building her confidence, and I know this is a Live with Spry, and we're going to talk about Spry, and we're going to cover some stuff with Spry tonight that I think will be things that will help you guys. But I think interacting with some of these other dogs, especially right now, because we have some real nice young dogs that I think there's value in seeing some of the struggles that I'm having with them as well. My problem with Spry is right now it's just hard to get outside. It's real hard for me to get outside and get a lot done. It was 9 degrees below zero when I woke up this morning, or when I left my driveway this morning. I think on my way home at 11 it was 9 degrees. So it's hard for me, and it's hard on these dogs to do a whole lot outside. So we haven't been doing so much, and I always struggle with the reception. So I have good news. Our warehouse here comes a little bit of this 50%, 70% where we quit paying attention, and all of a sudden she's maybe on a little bit, maybe off a little bit. So the internet was installed at the new warehouse today. So I did test it. It worked. The web booster that we got, here it comes. So anybody, does this look familiar to anyone? Maybe I'll creep off a little bit and then I'll get back on. So this is something where it's not to the point where it's created major issues, but what I have to do is I have to say that we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to go zero tolerance. And we're going to have to be pretty firm. Now, I am not going to be, I mean, she wanted to get that piece of gravel apparently. Come on, little girl. She's new to our house. There it is. She's new to our house. And so what I really have to be very careful of with her, and this is why I think it's kind of nice, it's a lot like when I go up and I work with the Mighty Pet people, which I was up there this morning. We had, see the timing? It's all about timing. But I was up with Mighty Pet this morning. I enjoy Mighty Pet because I get the chance to work with a bunch of different dogs. And it's interesting to me. It's challenging. You can just see her thinking about it. She's going, oh boy, I'll look so pretty, and I'll kind of make my eyes look like this, and I'm pretty cute, and it's likely that I can get away with something. I read her like a book. So I have to at some point be 100%, and that's going to be on my end. She's not 100% yet. We're going to get there. I'm not getting quite that stiff with her yet because she's new. And with her, I first want her trust. I have to earn that. And so I'm gonna show you some of that tonight on lead. I don't know how much lead work she's had, and quite honestly, I haven't put her on lead hardly at all since I got her. So we're gonna see just how good or bad maybe her lead work is. Spry tonight, we're gonna talk about a little bit of recall. The reason is I've had some people that have been messaging me with some issues on recall. When I say recall, calling the dog to you, get them to come to you. I never really had that big of a problem with Spry. She was always pretty good. I almost always see it at that 12 to 14 weeks is usually that window that I see a little dog build the confidence and they go, you know what, I think it'd be more fun to run off and check things out than it would be to come in and when Dad wants me to come in. So at that point, we make sure that we work through those. That's where I'm putting leads on little pups. I'm taking them outside where they can't run away. I'm controlling the environment so that they can't run away. I've got a very controlled environment here with our warehouse. So we're going to show you some Spry stuff with recall. And I'm going to talk about the whistle because I had a couple people ask about the whistle. And one thing that I did not have, if anybody watched this weekend, we did some rabbit hunting. I did not have my whistle, and I wish I had. Because there was a couple times where the whistle would have been really handy for me with Ellie when she was out making retrieves. And I didn't have it. So I'm going to show you some of the recall to the whistle tonight. I'm going to use the whistle. I'm going to do some simple recall. I'm going to see how this goes because it'll be really a nice test for Cody here. We're going to go out of sight. We're not going to do it right in front of her. We're going to just go around the corner here. And I'm going to do some recall to the whistle with Spry. And then I'm going to do some reverse heel with Spry. And I'm going to show you what reverse heel is. If you watch the old live with Spry's, you'll have seen them. There was a point, and actually, the person who owns Cody here just sent a text message. I just saw it come through and said, I really need a fix for Cody. Cody fix, is there a way you could send us some pictures? So she texted my wife, Steph, if you're watching, if you could please send Kathy a message and say, we're live with her right now, and she could really get a fix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some reverse heel stuff because it's real simple. And it doesn't have to be real complicated, and you don't have to have big spaces, and you don't even have to be outside, quite honestly, to have it work. It's probably going to be pretty simple to see it with Spry because she does it well. I don't know how much you'll get out of seeing it. It'll be more of a demonstration than a training. This one here may end up, it may be some training because I just don't know how she's going to respond to it. And this is going to be the first time, guys, that I've actually done anything with her formally. And I did that on purpose. Now, 2 reasons. She just came to us, and really, I am not interested in bringing a dog, uprooting it, moving it from its family and everything it knows and understands and is comfortable with, plopping it into my house with 6 different dogs and different people and all this stuff and expect it to be able to just kind of move right into training. Like, training is ongoing and raising them is what we're going to do. And so we're just simply letting this dog fit in, build some trust in me, develop a little bit of confidence, especially with a new place. So we've got a few people on. If you guys would do me the favor, I'm going to ask you, I ask it usually in the beginning, if you could share these. Share it if you want to share it to someone specific that you think it might help, these training videos, these live with Sprys, or if you want to just share it on your page. I think you can, when I say share it to someone, like maybe type their name in if they want, if you think this is something that they should watch. If not, share it to your page, because that is always a great way to grow the awareness, and that's how we do this. And I like the lives because I think they're interactive. So they should be interactive. If they're not, I might as well just film the stuff and post it. So the beauty or the value of the lives is when you guys have questions. So it does, once I get into it, it's hard for me to answer them on the fly because I have a hard enough time working with these dogs with a camera to begin with. It gets in the way, it distracts, it creates a lot of issues with my concentration and focus between me and the dog. So I might not answer them exactly like as we're going through, but ask the questions, because then at the very end I'm going to go back and answer questions. So if you've got something, fire away right now. I do see there are a couple questions, so before we get going, I'm going to answer them. Mine does that all the time. In time, it makes her feel like she can get off when she wants if I don't catch her. Yes, Cody. So that's where I'm talking about zero tolerance. With her at some point, and she's gotten a lot better. Like the first 2 days, she went on her place pretty well, and then she would, all of a sudden I wasn't paying attention because I was lulled into a false sense of security. Next thing I know, Cody goes walking through the living room, and I'm going, where the hell did that come from? So I had to realize, boy, instead of putting her on place in the kitchen, where I put a lot of dogs, and I don't necessarily see it if I'm sitting in the living room working on my computer, instead I switched her and I put her on a place that's closer to my, in front of me. So those are, if you don't pay attention to them, especially if they're not solid to it, you can run into some troubles. Get back, get back, get back, get back, get back, get back. So I want to get her feet on that place. Get back. I'm a little bit more lax with the cardboard, but so here we go. There was another question. Booner comment was great. Oh, so Jeff watched some of the. Man, I shot some big rabbits this weekend. Is there any spots left in our training seminars? I'm assuming you mean your training seminars. The workshops, Brian Jackson, yes, we do have room. The April one is about full. I had 2 or 3 people commit to it in the last 2 days. I haven't seen checks from them, so I don't count it until I get a check. Like that's how I'm gonna save a spot. So I have 2 or 3 people that I think are coming, but I haven't. They just didn't get here yet. So I may have a spot or 2 max, Brian, in the April. I think it's 27th through the 29th. The May workshop, I have quite a bit of room. I think there's only 4 or 5 spots taken in that one, and we will go up to 15. So, question is there a reason that the dogs don't wear collars? I don't like collars. Not a question of shock collar versus flat. I'm talking flat collars or slip collars. I'll use the slip collars when we start working on heel, and we'll use those tonight. And the reason I don't have nylon collars on is because they get in the way of my slip lead. So it's not as, my slip isn't as effective if I've got a collar on. It's like padding, and it doesn't it takes away from the effectiveness of the slip. And so, and I don't like them myself because when I hunt with them, I don't have them wear them because they get hung up on stuff, and I don't want dogs getting hung up on stuff. So that's my reason why I don't have them wear collars. Brian Frisk says, how do you handle what I would call jealousy? My wife has a small dog, and when I let her out of her crate, my dog Lily loses her mind and goes crazy. So, Brian, your dog Lily is the big dog or the little dog? My wife has a small dog, and when I let her out of her crate, my dog Lily loses her mind. So the little dog comes out of the crate and your dog loses the mind, or the opposite. That'll help me a little bit, but either way, vice versa, it doesn't quite matter. The idea of it's a distraction that the dog has to focus through and maintain control under. So it doesn't matter if we're in the field and rabbits run in front of my dog. if they're on heel with me this weekend, you can watch the videos on our Facebook or our Instagram and any of those things. I have videos where these other dogs are hunting rabbits and chasing them, and Ellie is on heel, and all she's doing is making retrieves for me. So when I shoot, when the rabbits run by, when the dogs run by, it doesn't matter. She has to work through those distractions. It's all they are, is distractions. So how do I get to that level? Because that level is pretty intense, incrementally. So I'm going to start where there are very little or no distractions, and I'll work my way up to it. So Brian, if the little dog comes out and is a hellraiser, first off, cultural impact is important. And so if we have one dog that's allowed to do anything and everything and the other one doesn't, it makes it harder. It's not to say it can't be done, but it does make it harder on the dog that can't do everything. So, but I think one of the things I would do is implement place. And implement place to the point where things are so exciting that it just doesn't matter because that dog's not coming off of there. So that can be one of the reasons I like place is it's a pretty safe place. It's a safe spot that the dog can go and realize, hey, I'm not getting in any trouble here. As long as I stay on here, there's really nothing I can do to get in trouble. So you could implement that in those situations, Brian. A couple different scenarios, but I think it's focusing through the excitement and focusing through the distractions that come up. And that is just, that's not just in that scenario, but it's in tons of scenarios as far as your training process. So another question, what's the importance of the raised bred platform area? Have you seen a lot of people using that? It's a very clear perimeter, and it allows for me to make a very crisp, clean, well-timed correction. You saw it before when this dog put her foot down. As soon as the foot came down to touch the ground, I corrected before it even touched the ground. Now, little puppies, this question is from Tisha. Tisha, if you watch our puppy DVD, that's something that there's some people that didn't know we have a puppy DVD. We have a puppy DVD that covers heel, sit, stay, come when I call you, and place command. So this is that. So this is 2 discs, it's 2.5 hours. The place command in there, I think it's over 10 minutes, at least the chapter. And the chapter is a little puppy that's about, I want to say he's about 8 weeks old. It's old Dan from Raised Hunting. At about 8 weeks old, we filmed that, and I had never place trained him. And you can watch on our Facebook some of our videos and stuff. I've put puppies on place for the first time ever and filmed it. And today at Mighty Pet, we took a dog that the owner said, my dog can't do that. My dog would not be able to do that. At the end, that dog did it. We took pictures, we sent it to mom. So the raised portion of it makes it very clear as a perimeter. And it makes it really easy for the dog to understand. If they step off, and I correct and my timing is good, it makes sense. You see this? There's no raised. So it's really easy for her. Oh, she stepped off. Oh, she's off. It's harder for her. Now, she's not going to come off there far. She comes off there further than I'd like. But because she's been place trained a long, long time with beds, she's got it down pretty good. But the problem with it is if you've just got a flat pillow or you've got a flat mat, the problem is when they're little, they fall asleep and they lay down, and next thing you know, they roll over and one foot's off, and then the shoulder's off, and then half the body's off. And at what point do you make the correction? Well, it really doesn't matter because you missed it. You know, it's just, there's way too much gray area if it's not elevated. So I like them elevated. I actually, when they're real, real little, I'll lift these things up even higher. I think it's more of an obstacle or a little bit more scary for them to think about jumping off. But watch some of our old videos, Tisha, and if you have the puppy DVD, there's a whole chapter on it that walks you through the process, and you literally see it happen live. Dan Crockle, I sent you a message about Ask It Here. When did you send it, Dan? I was caught up until today. Took my 2 dogs on a walk, shed hunt today. I did see this, Dan. You just sent this, I think, didn't you? I just checked. I have like 8 messages right now with questions that came in today. So I think you maybe sent this really quick, really recently. Took my 2 dogs on a walk, shed hunt today, and 4.5 months old kept bringing back random things. I praised him so I didn't discourage the retrieve. Just wanted to get your take on it. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. We don't want to discourage young pups carrying stuff around. I use them as training opportunities. I'd get right down on my knees and I'd call them to me and I'd share it with them. And you know, that's not a bad thing for pups to be picking stuff up. The thing is, like, if it's in your house and they're picking stuff up, what you have to be careful of is don't have stuff laying all over.
So because it's going to create that issue. So we want to avoid that issue when possible. So outside, the pup picks something up, use it as an opportunity to get them back, have a make a nice little retrieve out of it. We don't want to discourage it. So I think you did the right thing there. So Emily says she's so happy we started the lives. They are great inspiration. Thank you, Emily. I'll tell you right now, guys, I got a lot of really nice comments, messages, texts, direct messages or whatever through Dogbone, and through some of our other platforms. I've got some messages from Snapchat. I've gotten some messages through Instagram. But those, when you guys say stuff like that, like, it's really easy to continue to do them because it shows me the value of them, and it shows that you guys are getting stuff out of it. And I'm telling you, that is the only motivation I need. So Dan answered clearly defined place, absolutely. Brian said the big dog comes. Lily is the big dog, I'm guessing. So I think we kind of covered that. Dan's dog is looking tremendous. And so Dan sent me a lot of messages. Dan and I have talked back and forth. If you haven't seen, Dan's got a really nice little black pup. Really nice. And so my thing with Dan is I've told him, be patient, be patient. And I think, Dan, you have another question, I think, today that I didn't get to answering yet, but we can talk about it a little bit. You said, what do you mean by slowing down? And I don't mean that you're doing anything wrong. I mean, just be patient. Like, I don't know how old it is, 8-9 weeks old. This is and you're having great start. You're off to a great start with it. And you've got a lot of really good things going on. What I mean by it is this. Like, we can come out of the gates really firing and real aggressive and really, hey, push because the dog just shows us so much stuff. The chances, it's going to happen. I don't know when it'll be, but it's going to happen where you're going to run into some brick walls. And then you're going to take steps back. When we get so much momentum and steam built up early, sometimes those first brick walls are really tough to handle. And so I don't want to see that, so I'm kind of prepping you for that. But then the other thing is I want you to understand this is a marathon, not a sprint. And that doesn't mean, I'm not knocking the progress. I'm saying be in it for the long haul. So I almost tell people to conserve some of this enthusiasm, energy, and drive because it's a long, long way to the end of the road. And so that's all I'm saying. Marathon, not a sprint. So, the score at the end of the first quarter really doesn't matter. It's at the end of the game. That's what matters. Cody says, Brian had the same problem. My wife has a Yorkie. Okay, so this is that we were talking about the one dog getting jealous. Harder to get anything done. So again, I think that's a major distraction. I was gonna say I do think if there's any way to influence the other dog to be a part of this pack culturally, that helps. If it's not an option, I think it's working and building up to the ability to work through Sparky or Tinkerbell or whoever it is that is creating some of the strife. Just joined, Mark did. Who's the yellow dog? That is Cody. And she's new to us, and we're going to show some new stuff with her tonight. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. Boy, you guys are really firing on with the questions, and this is great. But I'm going to keep moving. So let's spin this around. I'm going to start here again. Got the tape on the file cabinet. And I'm going to show, I wanted to talk a little bit about recall. Putting my whistle on tonight. Because I've had some questions about recall to the whistle, and I also wanted to talk about some reverse heel. So I use reverse heel. I really like reverse heel. This is part of the. Now I'm remembering why I wanted to talk about reverse heel. I've had probably 3 or 4 messages this week that talk about calling their dogs to them off a sit. And I had one person ask, I don't know if I answered it yet or not, I had a message that I did see about calling a dog off a place. So I've got her over there on place. I would never call that dog off place. No. She's got a problem with coming off a place on her own. I'm not going to call her off. That's just putting gas on that fire. So what I want to do is I want to form the habit of, you don't come off of here
on your own terms ever. And I realize you're going to say, well, you called her. No, I don't want that gray. I don't want that slippery slope. So to get her off, I walk over to her and I'll touch her, or when they're little, I'll pick them right up. But I'll go over to her and I'll tap her shoulder, come on, and bring her off. So that's how I want to get her off of there. Like, I go over and get her. I don't call her. Because what's going to happen is she's going to anticipate you calling her. She's going to be on the edge of it. And then she goes, oh, and she just came. So this is perfect. Almost lost you. Come on. So, place. So that is why. So tonight's struggle, I'm going to flip this around. Tonight's struggle is going to probably have this involved with it. That's why I said before, I'm not going to do this training in front of her. I am going to go over here to do it so she can't see me. Now the big question will be is, will she have the ability to work through that, hearing us over there, especially when I start peeping on my muscle and I start changing my tone. You know why she came off? Because I stood up, I started moving around, I kind of got a little energy going in here, and she came off of it. So, right there, she's going to come off. So, wish I had double angles right now. I wish you guys could see this. Let me do this. Let's see if I can put this here. You can see her in the background, maybe not. I really don't want to break the camera, or break the phone. Let's see if that'll stick. So, now I'm going to have a hard time. This is where the camera gets in the way. This is where the camera creates issues for me as a trainer. Because I'm talking to you guys like you're people. I saw her in the back, and I can't see it very good because it's real little. But I saw those little feet coming down. So my timing has to be there to correct it. But this is where the camera gets in the way. This is where it makes it really hard. And if you are watching and you have not tried filming, I had a question come to me, I don't know, a day or two ago. And part of my answer was, it would help me to see it. So I asked him to set it up on a tripod. Don't try filming it while you're handling the dog. It's hard. Set it up on a tripod, film it, and send it to me, and it'll help me see what's actually going on. That's one thing. That helps me. But people that have tried filming their own stuff, they realize that this little device gets in the way because it breaks our concentration. It breaks our focus. I've got Spry right here, and when I'm working with her and we get the most stuff done, it's me and her. We're connected. We're feeling each other, and we're really working together as a team. When I have a triangle here between the phone and her, I pay more attention to you guys than her. She goes, well, he's not paying attention to me. I don't know that I should necessarily pay attention to him. So it kind of creates this static in between our connection. So that makes it hard. I like what she just did. She put her head down, and I don't know how long she's been like that, but that tells me she's kind of settling in. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move this now. I'll put my tape back here for later. I already prepped for this. So I'm going to put the tape on this box. Pretty sophisticated, pretty fancy here at the warehouse. I can't find the tripod. I used to have the tripod. Can't find it. I'm going to set that there because I'm going to just show you some. Now, we're going to see. I can hear Cody's tail going over there. Here she comes. This could be one of those. This could be one of those really good ones. Go on, place. Go on, come on, place. Place. Good girl. So, put yourself in her position. She's kind of new to this group. She's never done a live with Spry. She goes, what the hell is this dog? Why does the black one get to get a leash on? Why does the black one get to move around? She's never been to the shop before. So she's never been in this place before. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it up. Okay? So here's a good lesson that is not really what I was planning on doing. But it happens all the time. It happens at Mighty Pet every week. Every week we go up there. I got something in mind. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Project Mighty Pet, watch look back on our Facebook.
feed. I've shown a lot of videos from there. So I'm going to swing this.
Cody's going to be a big part of Live with Spry. And actually, for this, I'm going to bring this back. Now, here's the bad part about Live with Spry's. When things don't go quite how we had a plan, what do? You run the risk. There's probably a reason why a lot of guys don't do this. You run the risk of looking kind of foolish. So I had a little idea of how I was going to do this in my head tonight. I thought, we'll work with Spry, we'll put Cody on place, we'll then go get Cody, because I did want to use her, and I was going to use her in a certain way. And that was my plan. And just going to adjust this so that it doesn't fall and it doesn't break my phone. So I planned on doing it one way. That didn't work. I'd have fought that all night. That dog would have come off that bed constantly. I know she would. Now, if you read her body language, give me some thumbs, quick thumbs if you can see her. Because if you can see her, I'm a ways from that camera now, and I can, if I see things go past, I like hearts too. There they are. So you can see her. So I want you to see her, and I want you to pay attention to a few things with her. Her ears. She's like, they're caked down right now. And she's extremely nervous. She's just really nervous. So I'm going to show that close up.
Look at that poor thing. I mean, she's going, what in the hell do you want from me? I'm sure of it. Super submissive. She's extremely soft. I don't mind that at all. In fact, I like it. Very nice little dog. But looking at her body language versus Spry goes, you can just see her. She's quite confident. She's not overly. She's not an issue. But this one right here, it's going to take me a little while. It's going to take me a little while to warm her up a little bit. So let's see. I don't know what I touched there. I touched something, and now all the pictures are there. Oh no, I don't know. Now I don't see anybody talking anymore. So I'm gonna have to figure out. Oh boy. Video only mode. Swipe left. There it is. Okay, so I fixed it now. All right. So one of the things, I couldn't see any comments. That was my problem. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm really going to have to warm her up. So I'll change my game plan. I'll just shift on the go. We were going to have Cody over there. We were going to do some stuff with Spry and then use Cody later. That wasn't going to work. So I have to be willing to look at that and go, don't bang your head against a brick wall to try to get through. Take a step back. Look left, look right. Oh, there's a door. Open the door and go through. So this would have been banging my head against the wall trying to do what I was trying to do. So take a step back. Oh, well, she's not. I'm going to use her first. Okay? So she's going to come off. It's going to take me a little while to warm her up. I don't know how she's going to heal because, quite honestly, and I'm going to do this quickly too because this is the part of live that's live. And I just didn't have a plan for this tonight. I didn't figure we were going to do this. But I'm going to take Spry, and I'm going to put her back here. Spry. Then I'm going to put her up there. And then this way, you guys can see us a little bit better. So I don't know how Cody is on lead. I just don't know. I don't know if her owners did much with her on lead. I think they've done a nice job kind of steadying her up a bit. She's real nice around the house. I don't know. Her recall was a bit of a struggle, is what they told me. So we're going to do some reverse heel with her, and I'm going to show you why I do it and how I do it. But first we're just going to see how she's on lead. Now, adjustable leader, she's using the small collar, and that's about right. And we may even get to the point with reverse heel tonight where we take her off the lead, but we leave the collar, and this side will tighten up just a little bit. About there. So, let's just see what she looks like.
I'm gonna work on. Whoa, I'm losing you. Oh boy. And we right as we hit 50 people, the old camera hits the ground. So I just adjust. I take another piece of tape and I stick it on. Now we're good to go. So let's get Cody going and see how she looks. Come on. Now that's quite a distraction. I just healed her past another dog. Did you see my correction though? Just didn't have to be too hard. Come on. Now she's soft. Come on. And she's got a real loose lead right now. I bet you they had her on a lead. I would say they had to have had her on a lead already. She has no inclination to pull. Come on. This is what I like, guys. I can't stand. Come on. I can't stand a dog out in front. I certainly can't stand them pulling. See? There's nothing wrong with that. And just the slightest little tap to get her moving. Come on. Now right hand turns, right hand turns, right hand turns. The camera's reversed right now. She's on my left hand side. So with this adjustable leader, I'm making the letter P and I'm going up over her head. I'm going to adjust this so that it doesn't slip and fall off of her if I were to take this off. But it's also going to leave that little bit of weight hanging. And that's also something that I can, and I'm going to do this in a minute with some little bit, I might even try a little baby retrieve with her. But, so it's loose and the pressure is off completely. And when I need to, if I need to correct, I will. On, off. That was more than enough for her. Watch this, I call it feathering. It's just, see, when I tap this, I'm going to show you this up close. When I tap this, watch right here, this part. This is the part that allows me to adjust that lead, or that collar. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to see if you can see both in the same frame. See that little bit of feathering that I'm doing with my hand there? It's making this move. She's feeling that. She doesn't need a whole lot. She's a pretty sensitive little dog. She does not need me to pick her front feet up off the ground with a correction. She doesn't need it. This alone is what I just did, that is what got her to move. So, Cody, heel. Come on. Got a bumper. That took a little more to bumper. Right hand turns, she's really good. She's just following right along. Just real nice. Now, let's see what she does on a left hand turn. Boy, I really am struggling with the old. Let's see what she does on the left hand turn when I turn back into her. Surprise. Surprise. She doesn't know what to think. She goes right down to sitting. So, what I'm going to do is, we worked on this at Mighty Pet today. Now I've got some great videos from today. Hours of over an hour of good footage of this. So I'll be working through that stuff. Wait till you guys see what we're going to do with Mighty Pet's footage. But heel. I'm going to turn into her. I got to get this changed so you guys can see it. This is good stuff tonight. I'm going to move this over here. She's out of position. I just saw Chelsea's name. Chelsea's joined in. Chelsea knows exactly what this is because we did this today up at Mighty Pet. So we're going to walk. I'm going to get into her a little bit more. And try to get her to bend the right way. See how she's backing? I need to get her to bend. There. That was it. You? Good. I need to physically, I'm not pushing her. There. She's really doing a nice job, actually. Look at that one. And look at her tail right now. Look at how she kind of likes this. So, out of screen. hard to do this. I really need to get someone to hold the camera and watch this. Because I got to move. I got to keep moving. I wish I had someone right now to film this. So I'm walking out of screen. The difference with this dog right now is I'm getting her feet at least to move backwards. Where today when I was at Mighty Pet, we had dogs that when I try to turn into them, and I try to get their hindquarters to lead around. And if you're new to these, watch the old Spry ones, because you'll know what I'm talking about. I get Spry. I'll show it. Well, here. So here's what we'll do. I'll show this. I'm going to put Cody on her place here. No. Get up. Spry. So now I'm going to take Spry off. This is going to be the biggest test will be for Cody. She's on her bed right now. She's on the place. She's really excited about it too. I'll show this. She's real excited about it.
She was just almost kind of bubbling over.
And so what I need to do is I need to get her to settle in. And I am adjusting my tape. So I am going to reset this. And now I'm going to show you what I mean by the feet, because Spry does it really well. So when I put her in heel position, heel. Watch her back end, her hindquarters. Get up, get up. Watch her hindquarter take a step back and bend around with me. Heel. That one wasn't that clean. That one was not clean at all. She's not bending. She's real straight tonight. So, man, I just wish we had a camera because her bend is off tonight. Can you see which way her body is bent? Her body is bent away from me, like this. It's like a banana away. I needed a banana towards. So I need her hindquarter, and I'm really surprised at this because she's normally really sharp. There, it's a lot better. Part of it is we're in pretty tight cord there. It's a lot better. Get up. Get up. It's just, I'm having a hard time with my space here. So, again, one of two things. We get more tape out. And there's a couple things going on here. I'm getting kind of frustrated. Because not only is my tape not holding, but I'm struggling a little bit with my setup. I've got not quite enough room to do what I want. I can't get the video to work, catch what I want it to catch. So I've got all these little things that are getting mixed in and added in tonight that are creating a little bit of stress in my life. Sound familiar? Like little things that add up. This didn't work. The internet didn't work. This person did this. This person didn't do this. All these little things that are adding up in my life right now that really really don't matter with the dogs. Like the dogs don't have much to do with the problems tonight. The other stuff is weighing on me, and I'm kind of getting pissed. I'm getting a little upset about it. So I have to go, all right, it's really not that big of a deal, first off. So adjust it, fix it, set them up for success. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more space, a little more run. I'm going to change my tone a little bit, and I'm going to really kind of focus now, and I'm going to stop talking to that camera, and I'm going to focus on my dog. And I'm really, get up, get up, get up. So I got dogs that are testing me. Sound familiar? You. Every time I say good, Cody wants to be a part of it. That's it right there. See the difference in the bend of the body? Good. There it is. Her front shoulders are following her hips in reverse. And she's arcing the right way. She's arcing the right way. I don't know if you can see it. Yep. Not quite there. Close. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. So today when we were at Mighty Pet, we're trying to do this with dogs. And it's very uncomfortable for them. It's very awkward. It's very hard for them to walk backwards and lead with their hindquarters because they're used to following their front quarters everywhere they go. They're used to their shoulders leading, their head leading. And I'm asking them, walk backwards and bend your body at the same time. And bend the body in a way that doesn't make sense. Normally if I walk this way, they bend the opposite. I'm asking them to bend the other way because it's going to be more efficient for them to make a turn when I turn into them. Count the steps that it takes for her to make the turn. Yeah. That was 4. 3 there. 3 there. If she doesn't have good footwork, it takes 5 or 6 steps to get into the position. And she's really not facing the right way and she's squared up funny. But the last 3 or 4 minutes of this have been very good. I got nice. One of the things that we ran into today at Mighty Pet was as soon as I wanted to turn them that way, their hindquarters became stuck in the ground and they just pivoted. Their front quarters just pivoted and their back feet didn't move. I want you to watch her back feet. Chelsea, if you're watching, watch her back feet. Her back feet are moving. And as she moves, she's making a circle. And she's leading with her butt. She's leading with that hind quarter. This is hard for a lot of dogs to do. This takes practice. But you know what? Throwing left-handed is hard for me. I talked about it today at Mighty Pet. I look like Tom Cruise on the aircraft carrier when he throws Goose's dog tags. If I throw left-handed, I look really silly. Right-handed, no problem. Left-handed, it's awkward. So for this dog to back up that way, hindquarters first, it's awkward. It's hard. It takes a while for her footwork to get right. So she's got that. Now I'm going to take the other one. And I'm going to see if I can do it with Cody. And see what it does, because her other turns are real good. Her right hand turn, which all she has to do is follow, is easy. She's got great loose lead. I'm not pulling her, she's not pulling me. We're good. Now I'm going to turn into her. She goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now she's out of position. So what's interesting with her is she just backs up. Now I just got to figure out how to get her to turn a little. There, there, there. Good. 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 Now, I'm being really distinct with this leader. This is why I like this leash. This is why I like this combination leash. This is that adjustable leader lead. I like it because if I want to or have to, I can get something out of that. I can get a correction. On, off. It tightens, it releases. it's soft. For a soft dog like this, it's perfect. If there was a little bit more grit to her, the slip chain would probably be what I would start out with, and then I'd go to this. But when I watch how I finally got her to make a turn. Come on. Tap, tap, tap. And now I don't need to tap. But I am tapping. Good. Now her butt is anchored to the ground. I need to get her back feet moving. Her turn is off. Her bend in her body's off. But at least I got her moving. And what I'm doing is I'm doing it by going like this. Look at that. Look at that. Just the way that lead feels to her. Doesn't have to pull. It's me pushing it at her and she's going, she's just feeling it. Because the position, she knows where she should be. She knows she should be right here. So when I take a step to her, she feels that. Trust me, it doesn't have to be much. I can use this lead to steer her around the shop all over. This is hard for dogs to do. Hard for them to go backwards. So I got to bump her because she hung up there. So one of the things too, guys, is when you start doing this, when you get their feet moving, do you see that correction? Her nose went down to the ground and it was this. Just enough. Yep. Once you get those feet moving, you got to keep them moving. Don't let them hunker down on you. Good. 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 Every once in a while, when she does it right, let her know. She's got to know when she does it wrong, and I got to correct accordingly with good timing. And then when she does it right, good. Good. When she does it right, get the tail wag out of them. Good. Get. Good. That's really nice. Now, sit. 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 We didn't go very far. We didn't go very far. That's 5 yards. We might have went back and forth, I don't know how many times, 10 maybe. 50 yards is about all we did just now. Look at her right now. So physically, this goes back to what we talked about the last two live with Spry's. She just was panting. There. Right now, we went maybe 50 yards, and it took us a while to do it. But the amount of work that it took for her is she's tired. She's panting physically. She's a little bit stressed about it probably. And the reason is because I really made her think. I challenged her tonight to go, wow, what do you want? You're making me think and move at the same time. That can be tough on a dog. So, Vicky just said her brain is tired. Absolutely. She's spent. She's worn out. I had other plans for her tonight. I wanted to do something else. So I don't think she's made it. This dog's going to be a duck dog. The guy that owns her, I've trained shed dogs for. I've trained tracking dogs for. He wants a duck dog. So we're going to duck hunt. We're going to have this one duck hunt. And I don't know if he's had it retrieving much. I don't think he has. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they haven't retrieved at all. That's fine. I'm not worried about it at all. I know that she's a retriever and she'll retrieve. But one of the things I was going to do tonight was see if I couldn't get a little retrieve out of her. I think I'd be pushing it to try to do that tonight. I'm going to be real satisfied and real happy with what we did tonight with this dog. Chelsea, it's easier to see right now than it was in person today, actually. So I was just thinking, I'm glad you made the comment, Chelsea. I was just thinking I wanted to mention, I wonder what Chelsea thought about that, because I will get the video together, guys, of today. We did some stuff today up at Mighty Pet that I think was really interesting. I thought it went really well. Rochelle joined in. There's another Mighty Pet. Megan is in. There's another Mighty Pet. So one of the things that we did today was this. It's probably fresh on my mind, partially because of it.
But I thought this dog did a really nice job, and I thought she did. I thought the dogs that we worked with today at Mighty Pet did a really nice job. We had some of them that moved their feet good. We had a shepherd that moved his feet real good. We had another one. Now, the training's not over. I'm done. I'm done with this dog tonight. This live with Spry's gone long enough. I'm done with it. But look what happens when training is done at our house. Like, that's what happens. This is what happens. I wish she didn't look so sad. It's okay. It's okay. She did a nice job. So now, but what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to let her spin up, spin up, spin up, spin up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it soak in. I think one of the things I think we do is we get something good out of our dog and then we let them go run laps to celebrate, and we're done with them and they're done with it, and let them, and it doesn't soak in. Doesn't get put into long-term memory. We got to get it out of short-term, get it into long-term. So with her, this is what they're going to do the rest of the night. I have to assemble. I'm going to assemble a bunch of dog bone kits tonight, a bunch of shed kits. Got a whole table, boxes full of them. We have a pretty good sized order that's got to go out the end of this week, and so we don't have enough hours to get them done during the day. So tonight, Steph's in Boston. My kids are at basketball games and with stepdads, and so I'm going to assemble. But this dog is going to be with me tonight, and she's going to be able to soak in what we just did. And then tomorrow we'll build off of that. But what I really liked about Mighty Pet today was we had a whole bunch of different dogs. Some of them feet moved good, some of them feet didn't move. Some of them turned pretty good, some of them didn't turn at all. Bunches of different situations. And we had a dog that we were working with that was nothing to do with heel work. It was just being social with other dogs and getting along well. So I thought we had a real nice session today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these questions. If you got other questions, fire away right now. But I'm going to go back up to where I know we were talking before. First off, thank you guys for sharing it. I saw the numbers up there tonight, over 50 I think we had at one time, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot, and we're no Justin Timberlake, but the 50 that we have, trust me, are deep. We might not be wide, but we're real deep. So the people that watch these, my hope is that you guys are getting out as much as I'm putting in, and from the comments that we've gotten, we are. So so this is the question, who's the yellow dog? We got that one. Thanks for your training tech. I took Gracie shed hunting Saturday, and she found a dead head and a coon skull. Bone's a bone, Mark. I love it. I had a guy send me a question about that today, or I responded to it today. Probably sent it a few days ago, but question was, what if my dog picks up a bone and brings it back to me? Is that to be discouraged? And I told him absolutely not, especially the first few years. Bone's a bone. It tells me they're on the right track. I've had my dogs, we have not found a shed yet. I bet you I got a whole bunch of bones though. I mean, I bet you I got 10 hindquarter legs. Like, I got deer legs that my dogs have brought back to me. So they're finding them in the woods. They're finding them when we go on our walks. They're bringing them back to me, and I treat it like it's a 90-inch shed. Like, I really tell these little dogs that, boy, you guys are doing something really good. So eventually we'll weed out the specific bone we want early on. Praise, 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 praise. So Jeff is talking to Dan about the roller coaster. Happy to join from Oklahoma was Ty. My question is how to get their eyes. I have a 9-week-old lab. I'm just trying to plan for the future. What I think, you capture their eyes when you've got their respect. Like, I think they look to you as a leader. They're looking for leadership. That's when I have a tendency to get their eyes physically. So some of the things I would be doing, Ty, is the early on stuff that we talk about in that foundation DVD, that puppy DVD. Feeding times are great opportunities to get all sorts of value. Steadiness, patience, trust, confidence, connection and feel. You can get some lining out of feeding times. You can get a little hunt command at feeding times. You can get all sorts of stuff out of simply feeding your dog. And you do it twice a day, and it's the most consistent, repetitious thing you're going to do. So, Ty, if you have the puppy DVD, I'd watch those early things that we're doing. I think there's things you can do at night, holding on to the dog in a certain way, so that they have to be kind of submissive to you, but not in a dominating way. Like, I can hold them on their back and have them not fight to get out of that. If they're big like this, I can have them lay at my feet and put my feet up on their back. And as long as they don't squirm out, they're telling me they're okay with me being their leader. So all these little body language things that you can do all day long. 9 weeks old, really little. Like 9 weeks old, holding them till they squirm and until they stop squirming and getting them down to feed them. Now 9 weeks is, you've probably had the dog a couple weeks now, getting pretty big probably. So you got to get that stuff done when they're real little, because it makes it easier because they're just physically little. If you don't do it now, you miss a golden opportunity. Those first few months, you put stuff in the dog that they'll have for the rest of their lives. Make sure you put in good stuff and avoiding bad stuff. I've switched, or Todd says, I've already thought that someone switched my puppies. So you know what we're talking about, Todd. And the thing, or Dan, Todd. And the thing about that is we see, I want everyone to realize, when you guys see other people's dogs and you see stuff on Facebook and Instagram or Snapchat or whatever you're watching, YouTube, all that stuff, I think those tools are really great, full of information, full of great content. Remember, you're watching the highlight reels. So there's a reason why not many people do a live training session like we did tonight, because there's a lot of people that probably would have been pretty upset midway. Probably would have been, God damn this, and you teasing me. And whose fault was it tonight that anything went wrong? Now, things go wrong. What do you do with it when things go wrong? That's how you learn. That's how you get something out of training sessions. They can't go perfect all the time, because your dog, they're just not built that way. When they make a mistake, that's an opportunity for you to correct and have them understand, don't do that. When they do something right, it's an opportunity for you to praise and say, do that. You got to have both ends of it in order for them to learn. So, guess who's tired from walking 50 yards tonight? Guess who's tired? That dog was with me all day today. She didn't do much physically. She was pretty, I think if I got up excitedly right now, these guys would probably flip a switch and go, let's go. And if I had let them, when we finished up our session, let them just do whatever they want to do, they would have bubbled over and went. But they would have lost all the good stuff we just got in the last 45 minutes, hour, whatever it's been. So, letting them physically and mentally wear themselves out, and then soak that in, marinate that for a little while, and then put it in long-term memory. That's the key. Melissa Stone joined in. Hey, Melissa, we haven't seen Melissa in a while. Melissa was at one of our workshops. Melissa, you're going to like the DVD. The new DVD, you star in it at several points. So, Ruger's in it. We got some. It was the new DVD, guys, has chapters where I'm working with dogs and explaining and demonstrating, and a few mistakes, not a ton, because the dogs that I was using were pretty good at that point when I filmed it. But what I really think is one of the best parts about this DVD is we support the chapters with footage from workshops. We filmed workshops. So we have people that came to workshops with dogs that I had never met before, didn't know anything about the dogs. They're different breeds, they're different levels of training. And then we show the stuff that we talk about in the chapter that we cover in the workshop, because our workshops are basically our foundation DVD and our shed DVDs combined into one and condensed into 3 days of really focused information that simply train a trainer. We don't train dogs. Dogs are there and they might get something out of it, but we focus on training trainers. And so the DVD, the workshops are like really, really high concentration focused versions of the DVD. And Melissa was at one of the workshops that we filmed last year. Jeff Trudell was at that workshop, and several people that watched these were at them. And boy, I think those are really, real valuable. The Mighty Pet gang that I was just talking about, they're coming to workshops this year. So we do have 2 workshops, foundation ones. Melissa, you could go to the Next Steps ones. Anyone who's taken a workshop can go to our Next Steps workshop. We're actually shed hunting at that one. We're going to shed hunt in Buffalo County. We have an outfitter that we're working with that helps us out with some lodging for our workshop, and he's got farms that he's leaving untouched for us. And on Sunday we're going to shed hunt on them. That's the Next Steps workshop. You have to have the first one to go to the second one. We have 2 of those foundation workshops. One in end of April one in mid-May. The April one is nearly full. The May one's got a couple spots, has spots left. So I'm gonna keep working through here. Mark says, get the puppy DVD. It's a great start. I think it's super powerful. I think there's a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot of information to cover not a lot of subjects. So it's the way I like it. It's pretty thorough. Be patient, Ty. Where was Ty's question? Did I miss something? Ty says, I'm happy to... he's the 9-week older. So yeah, a lot of patience. Jake Rortvet got in. Yes, sir. I gave all the videos and have watched them about 4 times. Excellent. So do some of that stuff at the feeding times, Ty, that you saw in there. Vicky was in late. Wild Rose had a live tonight. They do theirs a little bit different. I think they do them monthly, I think. Thank you guys. I know. We'll catch on. Smart Pup. Barry from Louisiana joining the live with Spry. You got in on it, Barry. Jumping in late. We're wrapping up here. Sam Tripp, Joseph Cox. Are we going to be at the whitetail banquet? Jake asked. We are at several whitetail banquets this year. We're not at that one, Jake. We're not at the one in Kohler. We're at 2 whitetail banquets this coming weekend. These are Whitetails Unlimited deer camps. We're at 2 of them in Michigan, Gaylord, Michigan. We're doing a free seminar at Jay's Sporting Goods. That's this weekend, Saturday, in Gaylord, Michigan. And then we have 2 Whitetails Unlimited events that we're going to be doing appearances. We'll have Spry and Taylor. And I might have another dog with me because I want one for the seminar. So I might bring that little red dog that we have, Elsa. Curtis says I should wear. They can't wear that big dog bone head, man. That's solid. That's not for wearing on heads. That's for trade shows and consumer shows. I do need a camera person to help out, Jeff. Indeed, maybe something that's in the works coming up this summer. You never know. So Jake and the release, they're talking about different Whitetails events. We do a ton of them, guys. We're partners with them. Whitetails Unlimited, we have the mascot. Taylor is their mascot. Megan says Cody reminds her a lot of Artie. Artie is a sister to Cody, and Megan has Lark out of that litter. So connection there. Let's see. My battery says it's low, so I'm going to have to wrap it up. So there, Chelsea tagged in Rochelle. So that's exactly what I was hoping. People could tag people in that they think would have interest in watching. My tripod, it's a good question, Megan. Jeff, easy. Let's see. Any other questions? If I could make it fast, I'd be up there in a heartbeat to help with the camera. I can feel your frustration. Yeah, I was pretty. The blood pressure went a little high there when the camera kept coming off and the dog kept breaking, and I didn't have it thought out very well. So, it's a good big picture lesson, which is what Jeff is saying there. It's the mess everyone deals with. We all deal with it, guys. Anybody who says they don't and has everything go smoothly is a liar. And that's fine. If that's okay. I just don't think you get much out of it if you don't see the downside, the stuff that doesn't go so well. This is where Chelsea said it was easier to see that turning, which is good. Let's see. Vanessa joined in. How long does each training session last? Tony asked. I don't set time on stuff, Tony. I go until I don't think they can go any longer. I had momentum at the end of this one. When this dog was doing what she was doing towards the end, I'm gonna watch the beginning of this because I tried getting her to turn in the beginning. I don't remember. I did this with so many dogs today. I don't remember how she did it in the very beginning. But I thought towards the end here, I thought it was excellent. And it might not look that good, but I thought it was excellent. And so I had momentum, and I got wind in my sails, and I wanted to go and make a puppy retrieve with her. I wanted to see if I could get her to retrieve tonight. So I'm not going to because I felt like I was pushing it. When she sits down, she starts panting, and it's 62 degrees in here, and we walked 50 yards over 5 minutes. I know that it's not physically that she's exhausted. It's a combination of physical and mental. So each training session lasts until I feel like we're going to maybe go downhill, and I want to end it positively. So there's just no set time on any of this stuff. Have a 1-year-old lab that's really high energy and seems to have some anxiety issues. We tried to leave her out of her crate when we leaving the house, but she tends to chew things. We've been leaving her in the crate, and she chews anything left with her, toys, bed, etc. Ways to calm her. She's relentless on beating up on a 10-year-old lab brother too. Yeah, so separate the two. Can't allow for the free play. That's cultural. You're just pouring gas on a fire to try to put it out. So you get separate them. Place trainer. Have her place train just like this. So when there's exciting things that are going on, she can't get at it. She's going to go patient. She's going to learn to be patient. She's going to learn to kind of harness some of that energy. This dog right here is really energetic. You wouldn't believe it right now, would you? She is. She's real high energy. But I'm able to control that because of the culture that we've built with it. This one can get pretty hyper too, believe it or not. So they all can. It's a matter of what do we do when they do. So the idea by this chewing thing, you're doing the right thing by kenneling her. If you don't kennel her, it's like taking a kid, put him in a completely clean house, leaving for work and coming back and saying, don't take anything out while I'm gone. Don't make a mess. Can't happen. So instead, we don't allow that to happen. We just don't allow that to happen with our dogs. The crate is not punishment. The crate is safe. They don't get in trouble when they're in there. Now, if you put a bunch of stuff in there for her to chew on, she's going to chew it up. Chewing is habitual. When we give dogs chew toys, they will chew on them, and then it creates a chewer. So I don't give my dog stuff to chew, and lo and behold, my dogs rarely chew on anything. Because I think if you give a dog something to do over and over and over again, it creates a habit. It's repetition and consistency, and it just forms habits. Chewing and chew toys are habitual. So if I take the stuff away, then it can't chew. So you're just setting her up for success. Kennel the dog, but don't put chew toys in there. And then it's likely that eventually we're going to start to phase out some of these bad habits that are being formed. Ways to calm her, slow down. Slow everything down. When you take the dog out, do it at a snail's pace because the dog really wants to go. And a lot of times we're in a hurry. So we let him out, we let him run in, we let him run out, we let him run in, we let him run out. We're boom, 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 boom. And that pace carries through for the dog all the time because that's what it's used to. It's just, that's the pace. That's so slow. How do you counter it? Black and white. Dog wants to go fast, you go slow. Dog wants to go slow, I pick up my pace. So we're trying to just find balance always in training, and that's how I go about calming these dogs down is slow it down. If they want to go fast, slow down. It takes work. That's the problem. So for a while, Brian, it's going to be hard. But you can do it. But you got to commit, and you got to be consistent. You got to be able to see it through. So once you start, finish. Now that's easy to say. It's hard to do. Have you released new training videos? Brian, tonight, today, the video went live, or the pre-order is live. If you order this, where is it? If you order the new DVD, which I'm going to show it to you guys. This is not it, it's a sample. If you order that, you get that with it. Free dog bone bowl, expandable travel bowl. So pre-orders are live on the website. If you're following our Instagram and our Snapchat, I posted it there first. I don't even know if I posted it on Facebook yet because it's a trickle-down effect. Those are really quick, fast ways for me to transfer information. Instagram and Snapchat. So I'm using it a little bit more. I need to use it more. I need to get a better understanding for it. But that's where I'm really putting out the most information quickly right now. Facebook usually is a trickle-down. It gets there, but it just takes a little while. So I know Facebook Live is super valuable because of this. We get to interact. So I'm just using the platforms a little bit differently. But so Brian, if you are using those other and you're not following Dogbone Hunter, maybe I would recommend it. And then I didn't announce it that much earlier. I think I did some of that today. It went live I think late last night. So here's a problem I have with Thor. When we go to the vet, he's okay with me on his lead, but the minute the vet tech takes him, he loses his mind and wants to pull everywhere. Is there a way to help with this? The last trip I had, the tech tell me I need to get a prong collar. No. I said absolutely not. I've tried a flat collar and a slip chain. No. So what my response would have been is, let me show you what he does with the handler on the other end, and then when I hand it off, what changed? The dog didn't change, the leash didn't change, the handler changed, and when the handler changed, she wasn't getting what she needed to get out of her. So we can have a little session with the vet tech on handling Thor, or probably the way to go about it would be more and more and more repetition with Thor, and I'd have more people work with Thor. I'd hand Thor off to more people. So your wife, the neighbor, person down the road, whoever. And now what we need to do is replicate the habit that he's doing well with you with other people. And so you can kind of hold through that so that the habit becomes stronger than the influence of whoever's at the end of the leash. Thor's just testing. And she is not getting to the point where he thinks, she's a leader too. So he's testing. Thor's not very old. Thor's a pup. Will you have any dog demo work this weekend? At Jay's, we will, Vicky. We're going to do a seminar. I'm going to dedicate about half of it to not demonstration, but instructional stuff. We're going to probably talk a lot of mechanics more at Jay's than anything. We're going to talk about deer dogs, so we're going to see where the crowd takes us. Whether we're talking more tracking or shed hunting, I don't know. We'll see what the crowd wants to do. And then I'm going to leave some ample time for some question and answer stuff, because I think this is like question and answer. There's a lot of value in having the ability to do this. That's what we're going to do at Jay's for a portion of the seminar as well. And then I'm in the store. I'm in the store for a couple hours there. So that's for the people that are. When you go to Minnesota, you don't get a lot of questions in front of other people, but they'll come up to you and talk to you after. They're just not they're different types of people. They're more introverted, so that's fine. So when we're at Jay's, I don't know, Michigan will tell me if we're introverts or extroverts, but if they're extroverts, we'll have a lot of questions during the seminar. If they're not, I'll get a lot of questions after, and that's fine. That's why we do it both ways. In Minnesota, don't take offense to that. I did have one person tell me once, took a little offense to that. It's not a negative, it's just life, man. Jason Erickson from Minnesota joined in. Marty, Jeff, let's see, I gotta be getting close. Holy crap, we're not close. I gotta get close near the end here, guys. Megan just nailed it. Sounds like the techs need to handle the dog properly. Maybe you could show them. See, we can have a little session. So I don't care for a couple of the texts. I hope they're not on Facebook. Let's see. Good stuff tonight in spite of everything. Thanks, Dan. I thought so too. Ron Herring joined in. Ron Herring is one that I filmed with some hold conditioning recently, and Ron and I are going to get back together and see if we can't take the next steps with Hank. So Ron joined in. Ron, I've got some really good stuff. Ron was at a workshop last year, and I've got some real nice stuff that we filmed the other night with Ron. Totally unrelated, but just found out that Drew drove a bear tag. 14 years of waiting. The hounds. Totally unrelated. And that you drew a bear tag. Oh my gosh. Now, I'm assuming Wisconsin, Chelsea. Can't take that long anywhere else. The Release podcast, who we did a podcast with this week. So if you guys are interested in that, check that out. I'm going to share some links to it. Jeff joined in. We're wrapping up here. Jeff, this is Tito's sister. She just came this week. I was talking to Jeff for quite a while today. So this is the dog we were talking about. Any events in North Dakota? I don't have any right now, Brian. The closest I have in North Dakota is Rogers, Minnesota. In mid-February, we are going to Cabela's there. Spend a day in Cabela's, and we're doing a free seminar there as well. I wondered how you don't give your dogs toys, chews, or chew things. Very interesting. What do you think they chew? What do you do if they chew the kennel or crate? That's a good question. I have searched out the right crates over the years. I've used them all. Some don't work very well. A lot of them don't work very well. And so the design is important. I have a crate right now that is really expensive, like really expensive. And I have dogs that don't chew, and they chewed it up. I don't do that anymore. So she's got a little bug here, ladybug for my little girl. take care of that. So, sit down. Sit down. So I will not. So Chelsea, I think it's the design of the kennel that helps. Sit down. Sit. Second I stand up, she sits. So this is just me and her getting to learn each other a little bit better. Vicky says there's a conflict of information on the start time of the seminar this weekend. Is it 10 or 11? I believe it is 11, Vicky. And you know what? It won't start if I'm not there. No, I'm going to be there at 10, but I don't think we're going to do a seminar until 11. Forsberg says, "Great job, great lessons. Thanks, Jeff. Need your help. I need help with Snapchat." James says, "You know, I'm the wrong guy to talk to about that, man. I'm trying to figure it out myself." Okay, so I think we're caught up. Cody's very pretty. Who's she out of? Cody is a Timber Barney puppy. So Timber was a dog that we trained for Randy Birdsong, a friend of ours, Headhunters TV. So Timber is real nice. Timber is out of Whiskey, who is one of my favorites of all time. I've got several Whiskey dogs. Ellie is a Whiskey granddaughter. This one would be a Whiskey granddaughter. Different moms. So, all right, guys. Have a great night. Jeff says, "Great love tonight." Well, hey, I love you too, man. So, you guys have a great night. We'll talk soon. We'll go live again this week. We'll see what next time brings. Maybe we'll retrieve this week. Maybe we won't. I may have other dogs involved in some of it. Maybe we won't. But Chelsea said, got in late. Great session. I was just kidding you. Live. Jeff says it was a great live tonight. Well, now it hurts my feelings a little bit. I thought, hey, love's a strong word, man. Don't throw it around if you don't mean it. That's what I've always been told. All right, guys. We'll talk with you later. Have a great night.